right, y'all, Rod doing Rod and all that. So when was the last time you had to act like you weren't as scared as you definitely and obviously were or are? So I was thinking about this. I was walking this morning, right? I like to walk around my compound. I do like a loop around there, whatever. I get some sunlight, a little bit of exercise, but it's really for the sunlight. So I'm walking and, everybody got a dog here, right? So it's a suburb plopped in the middle of a city. I don't really know another way to describe it. It's like, it's full of trees and houses. They call them villas here, but they're just houses. And, but in the Middle East, they carve it, out of, in the city, it's just like 100 houses, just carved right out of the city. And mine is very suburban. There are peacocks running around, there are frogs, you see the loose rabbit here and there. It borders a golf course, all that good stuff, right? So, of course, in a situation like that, there are a lot of dogs. These white people love their dogs, right? Black people love dogs too, but they just love them differently. So, in the morning is when you see, the early birds, making sure they get their dog walking. And there's this guy walking his two sizable dogs. Now, I used to be really, really scared of dogs. I'm not really scared of dogs like that. I'm only scared of scary dogs now. But so this is how I stopped being scared of dogs. I grew up being really scared of dogs. And when I moved to Qatar, there wasn't a lot of life. It's like in a desert, and just there wasn't a lot of weather, just everything. So like anytime I saw like life forms, I'd feel like certain life forms, because when I saw certain things, certain bugs and shit, I was like chill. But when I would see like dogs and stuff, when I went back to New York, I'd be like, oh, for me, normal life, okay, there's a dog. And that kind of, made me less scared of dogs, because I started to appreciate them so much so that I spent the summer, me and my wife, house sitting for someone, and they had a dog. So we had to house sit that dog, and house sitting that dog got me, actually prepared me to be a parent, because I had a lot of feelings for that dog. I really love that dog. And anyway, that's another story. But anyway, I'm less scared of dogs now. So a lot of times people have a dog, I tell them, I'm still a bit apprehensive. And then I get to know the dog, and then me and the dog are cool. And, I really like the dog and everything like that. But there are a couple of people who have dogs that really scare the shit out of me and make me feel really, really frightened. But anyway, this guy was walking with two dogs. I don't know these dogs. They could be scary. They're scary in size, scary enough if they wanted to be. But, I was like, okay, I saw how they were walking. I was like, I think they're kind of old anyway. Whatever, right? So I'm walking behind him and his two dogs, but I'm walking faster than he is. So obviously I'm going to catch up to him. He's walking slow, two dogs and a baby. So I'm like, okay, if these dogs aren't nice dogs, I'm going to know if I get too close, because they're probably going to be protective of him and protective of the baby and everything like that, and not liking that someone is walking up from behind. So I walk up from behind, and, they were fine. The guy said hi. He turned his baby towards me and everything, saying hi. But right before that happened, though, so let me go back a little bit to where the problem is. Picture being maybe 100 meters or so behind them, and I can see from 100 meters out that somebody else is walking with their dog towards him. And as someone who has feared dogs in their life, you don't like to be around when multiple dogs who don't know each other are in your vicinity, because you know how they act. It's beef. It's on sight. It's on sight when a dog sees another dog. So I'm like, okay, she has one of those small Napoleon complex dogs, and he has two sizable dogs that could be problems if they wanted to be. I was like, let me make sure I'm nowhere near them. But of course, my pace, and I think I'm changing up my pace, changing speed, like an athlete, like a good running back who knows how to change speed, or a good point guard, right? I think I'm changing tempos and stuff. But somehow I end up next to the dogs when they're about to cross paths. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get caught in this Mexican standoff here. So of course, the little dog is always the one, the little dogs, little dogs, everything. Now the big dogs, they wilding out and everything. I'm like, oh, damn. you know? So I'm like, okay, I could either, now I'm like getting really close. I'm like, I could either hang a left and be a pussy about it and just dodge the whole situation before anyone really notices me, or I could just keep walking, right? Just keep walking and walk past the dogs and shit, right? So anyway, by the time I really get 2 feet down into the situation, the little dog has passed, and you know, the big dogs weren't really scary, and like I said, but still, I'm not gonna lie, I had to act like I wasn't that scared, because no matter how scary the dogs were or whatever, I'm not trying to look like a herb, like a scared ass pussy right in front of the look at him cursing. Watch my video yesterday about cursing, about, you know, weather. I'm like, am I cursing more because I talked about that in my video yesterday? Like, am I talking it up? Anyway, I didn't want to look like a punk, but you know, I had to show that I wasn't scared. You know, obviously, if you know me, where I'm from, you gotta learn how to live your life not showing fear, you know. So I've always been really good at that. I've been in a lot of situations where I was anywhere from a little bit scared to very, very frightened. But you know, where I'm from, you might get eaten up if you show fear, you know, and not eaten up in the way that you would enjoy it. So yeah, what else is on my mind today? The other thing that was on my mind is, now, did I tell y'all about jumping out the car and a parent just like accosting me as soon as I got out the car? So, okay, people who want to engage you right before work, like on your way to work, almost there, like out of your car, coming out of the train, walking to your job, almost at your office or whatever like that, but the workday hasn't started and they want to talk to you about something work related. We don't like those people. We're not fans. And today, you know, I'm driving and I shouldn't be looking at my phone, obviously, but I was at a light for a long time. Check my messages. I didn't check my messages. I just looked at my phone and I had alerts. And it's colleagues writing about, you know, sending messages way before work has started, you know? Maybe they were at work, you know, it was early, but it wasn't like someone would say, oh, you know, you shouldn't have been thinking about work, but it was too early to like try to make somebody else think about work. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're sending my group messages about work, about something that like is going to be important in 95 minutes. And I'm like, nothing in the world would have been affected negatively or positively if you waited in sending this message. There was no reason it had to be sent at 6:58 or 7:07 or whenever it was sent. Work had not started yet. Now look, right, I didn't have to look at it. You're right, I didn't have to look at it. But I don't know, when you see that little notification shit, you know, the little 1, the little 2 that Apple's created, you know, that shit is like got you like Pavlov, you know, got you like Pavlov's dog, you know. So I saw that, and sometimes I look at it just out of annoyance, and that's the crazy thing. They know they'll still get you because they know that you're still gonna look at it. You're gonna look at it because you're annoyed. You're like, what do they want at this time? And you're looking at it, and you know, and they're like, yeah, he's probably annoyed that he's getting this message, but I bet he's gonna look because he's annoyed, just so he could bitch about it, you know. But if you're that person, look, you don't have to send a message in the morning before work starts. If it's not life or death, if it's not something you need the person to possibly bring to work from home, if it's not super good news, any of those things, don't message before work, or either message way before work. Like, don't message like in that twilight area, that twilight zone of like, you know, because on your way to work, right? I'm telling you what that zone is in a second. On your way to work, you're not always in the work mindset yet, right? But once you get close, that like everybody has like a invisible kind of force field. Like you cross this certain street or you see a certain landmark or something like that, and you're like, you feel like you're at work. Where that starts for everyone is different, but there's a certain time or something. Maybe it's a time instead of a place, and you feel like, I'm kind of in work mode. I'm in work mode. But and then like when it's really, really early, when you get up, like a little bit after you get up and maybe you get a message or whatever, you kind of feel like, well, I'm looking at my phone and stuff anyway, so whatever, I may even ignore this message anyway. But don't hit somebody like those few minutes right before they get into the work zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the last few minutes they have before they get into the work zone, like the last few minutes of humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't message. So just don't message before work at all. What else is on my mind? The excuses your parents are making for your kids. Y'all gotta stop. A lot of times as a teacher, when I'm telling a parent that their child did something wrong, the parents these days, and I don't know, maybe they were like that when I was younger, I'm not sure. Mine wasn't. But the parents these days want to know what the other kid did all the time. I'm telling the parent, like, look, this is what your kid did. They were violent, they were cursing, they were throwing something, they got into altercation of some sort with another kid. Okay, well, I'm going to talk to them and I just want to get the whole story. I'm like, but I encourage the child to tell the parent. I'm like, you give your perspective. Okay, so we have all the information we need. But a lot of times what's happening is, and I don't know if it's a generational thing, but the parents are they're acting like they're trying to get the whole story, but they're looking to share some of this blame. And it's like, it's not a blame thing at all. I'm also telling that kid's parent what happened. But I'm just telling the facts. It's anecdotal. That's what we call it. Like, we're just saying this is what happened. So I'm never telling a parent, look, your kid is bad and they were acting bad. It's not what I say. I say your child hit someone or your child threw something. It's up to you to decide whether that's bad or not. Maybe you don't think it's bad that your child threw paint across the room or something like that, That's up to you. But I'm just giving you the facts. I'm telling you, in my classroom, this is against the rules, and your child was throwing paint at another child, So I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do in that situation, whatever the consequence is, and you can decide whether you want to give a consequence or not. It has nothing to do with me, but I know what I'm going to do in my class. But a lot of times these parents these days, they're like, well, is he the only one in trouble? I get this so much. Well, I just think it's not fair. They want to know the length of the punishments, how many days their kids got versus another kid. Then they want to compare it and make sure that it was worth it. Like, they're a whole jury out here. It's crazy, and I'm seeing that so much. It's like the parents don't want to accept that their kid did something and should have consequences for it. They say, yeah, they should. They all agree. They say, yeah, I know they gotta have consequences and it's hard and this and that, but why are you always trying to negotiate? Why are you always trying to negotiate? And then, they will say, oh, I don't really see this behavior at home. I'm like, I don't know if I should believe that. You don't see this behavior at home. No, I don't know. Because if every other teacher in the school sees it and you don't see it at home, that's a problem. Like, then that means he or she is acting up in school in general, not just in my class. Anyway, this is not a huge problem. It's a huge problem, but I don't have the problem super often in my class, but it's a problem in general with this generation of parents. And I hate to sound like that person, who's like, oh, when I was younger, because I hate reading that stuff online. And, people say, oh, in my generation, this is how parenting was and everything. Only because I know in my generation, I'm a lot older, I'm in my mid-40s. I know in my generation, a lot of the parenting was trash also. It was really trash, just as trash as it is now. It's just trash in a different way. We probably weren't like that as far as like, if our kid did something, we're not negotiating, the parents, the parents probably whipped the ass and stuff like that. But they did other things wrong. They should have done a lot more gentle parenting. But extremes. The parenting now, they're wilding out, and they need to stop modeling how to get out of consequences that are deserved to the kids. And last thing was on my mind. So I think I got a promotion today. I mean, I say that because I haven't signed the contract. If you don't, I'm one of those people. If I don't sign the contract, until I sign the contract, it's not. I don't even usually talk about it. But I'm telling you, but the person who decides it, walked up to me and told me, we're going to offer you the position. Congratulations. I didn't get the official letter, email, and stuff like that. So I shouldn't be telling you right now. I shouldn't be talking about it, but I am. So the cool thing about it is it's a second chance. When is the last time you got a second chance? Something important. See, the thing is, it's not so much about the position. I mean, I can do the position. I am happy I got the position. It's a slight promotion. Everything counts. That doesn't mean it's not important. I'm just saying it's a slight promotion, but that doesn't mean it's slightly important. It's still important. It still has a great importance. But the more important part than just getting the promotion is getting a second chance, because I'm doing a position that I did before that I didn't do well in. When I first had a position like this, there were these things I lacked as a person and as a professional at the time, and it's not like I wanted another chance, but it just popped up. The opportunity is here. So I decided to go for it. And, I plan to do better next time, so, it'll be good to have this second chance. And the thing that a difference this time is that it's leadership, but the first time it was supposed to be servant leadership, support leadership, but it kind of ended up being more like head of department, a little bit of, more than a little bit of coordinating and stuff like that. And I realized that I'm better as like a coach. I coach people all the time. I coach people in all kinds of things. It's just what I do in my life. So I feel like, and God knows I need coaching in certain areas. But if anyone knows me well, they know that's just kind of what I do naturally. So, but as far as like being the leader, being the one in charge and telling people, I need you to do this and this is why you need to do this and stuff like that, it's a little different. I do kind of have this role in my life where I'm telling people but usually they're asking me, they're saying, can you tell me what to do? And they're asking me based on things they see about me, and I kind of just support them. I'm like, look, I'm here for you. And, I'm willing to share this thing. And I feel like the role that I have now, me doing this thing over, is more like that. Instead of being in charge, I had like a small department and they kind of saw me as the leader of the department. And it wasn't as much I'm working for them, which is what I'm better at, This time I feel like it's more I'm taking my expertise and I'm going to coach people through, support and coach and think through and help people more in that way, which I think is a better use of my my abilities. And it's something that I realize more now at this point in my life, just having so much experience and, being confident and secure in who I am. So have another chance and it's pretty cool. And once it's official, I'll tell you guys some more about that. My kids are milling about right now. My wife is out doing a sip and paint or something like that. So let me get to these kids. Y'all be good. Rod doing Rod. Peace.